As dawn breaks over the early American wilderness, a village stirs from its slumber. This is Salem, Massachusetts, in the year 1692. Nestled amidst the expansive forests and uncharted territories, it's a place where the line between the known and the unknown is blurred. The villagers, a community bound by faith and fear, rise with the sun, unaware of the chaos that's about to ensue. In this quiet village, a storm is about to brew, one that will leave its mark on history forever. In the heart of this devout Puritan community, the seeds of an unfathomable hysteria take root. The year is 1692, and Salem, Massachusetts, a village steeped in rigid religious beliefs and a fervent fear of the unknown, is about to descend into a maelstrom of terror. The spark that ignites this hysteria is as unusual as it is unexpected. A circle of village girls, led by the preacher's daughter and niece, begin to exhibit strange, unexplainable behaviors. Fits of screaming, convulsions, and trance-like states confound the villagers, leaving them grappling for an explanation. Enter the figure of Tituba, an enslaved woman of South American origin, who is also the family servant of Reverend Samuel Parris. Tituba, with her exotic background and marginalized status, is an easy target for the fearful and suspicious townsfolk. She, along with two other women, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne, become the first to be accused of witchcraft. The accusations don't stop there. The girls, now known as the Afflicted, claim to see specters of other villagers tormenting them, leading to a wave of more allegations. The village is consumed by a frenzy of fear. Neighbor turns against neighbor. Friends accuse friends. Even family members do not escape suspicion. In this whirlwind of paranoia, the spark of hysteria transforms into a raging inferno. The Salem Witch Trials, as they come to be known, are set in motion. The quest to purge the community of evil becomes a deadly mission, and the line between innocence and guilt is perilously blurred. As the accusations multiply, so does the panic. The village, once a close-knit community, is now a hotbed of fear and suspicion. Trust is a luxury that no one can afford. The hunt for witches is on, and no one is safe. A frenzy of fear and suspicion engulfs Salem, as accusations of witchcraft ricochet through the village. The stage is set for one of the most notorious episodes in American history. The Salem Witch Trials are about to begin, and the consequences will be devastating. As the accusations multiply, the village descends into a state of paranoia. Imagine living in a world where your neighbor, your friend, or even your family member could be accused of witchcraft. A world where a simple gesture, a misunderstood comment, or a sudden illness could lead to dire consequences. This was the reality for the people of Salem in 1692. The trials themselves were a spectacle of fear and superstition. The proceedings were based largely on spectral evidence, a type of evidence based on dreams and visions, which today would be considered far from reliable. This was a world steeped in religious beliefs and the supernatural, where the devil was as real as the person sitting next to you. The fear of the unknown, the fear of the other, was palpable, and it played a significant role in influencing the trials. The role of societal norms cannot be understated. Women, especially those who did not conform to the traditional roles of the time, were particularly vulnerable to accusations. They were seen as more susceptible to the devil's influence, further fueling the hysteria. And then, there were the afflicted girls. Their fits, their accusations, their testimonies, all added fuel to the fire. Their claims, no matter how outlandish, were taken seriously. The village was caught in a frenzy, and the trials became a means to restore order, to purge the community of the perceived evil. But what was the cost? Innocent lives. 14 women and 5 men were hanged. One man was pressed to death under heavy stones for refusing to submit to a trial. And several others died in jail, awaiting their fate. The trials were not about justice, they were about control, about quelling fears, and about maintaining societal norms. Innocent lives are claimed in the name of justice, as the trials spiral out of control. The Salem Witch Trials stand as a stark reminder of the dangers of superstition, fear, and a society willing to condemn its own out of fear of the unknown. The trials eventually cease, but their impact lingers, casting a long shadow over Salem. The year is now 1697, 5 years after the last trial. The Massachusetts General Court declares a day of fasting and contemplation for the tragedy that has befallen Salem, an attempt to atone for the grave injustices committed, but the echoes of the trials reverberate far beyond a single day. The court later annuls the guilty verdicts, restoring the good names of those wrongfully accused and executed. Yet the act does little to erase the pain and suffering the trials have inflicted upon the community. The village is haunted by guilt, regret, and a profound sense of loss. The government, acknowledging its role in the tragedy, issues a public apology in the early 1700s. It's a significant step, yet one that cannot mend the damage done or bring back the innocent lives lost. The apologies serve as a grim reminder of the human cost of superstition and fear, a testament to the horrific consequences of hysteria left unchecked. Years later, Salem seeks to honor those who fell victim to the trials. A memorial is erected in their memory, a poignant tribute to the 20 innocent souls who perished. Each one is remembered with a bench, inscribed with their name and the date of their unjust execution. It stands as a symbol of remembrance, a pledge to never forget the atrocities of the past. The Salem Witch Trials leave an indelible mark on the village and the nation. They expose the frailties of human nature, the dangers of mass hysteria, and the devastating effects of baseless accusations. Yet they also reveal the strength of a community in its pursuit of truth and justice, however belated. As the years turn into decades and then centuries, Salem continues to grapple with its dark past. The village attempts to heal, grappling with the guilt and regret of a tragedy of its own making. It serves as a potent reminder of the lessons history has taught us and the ones we must never forget. The Salem Witch Trials, a dark chapter in American history, serve as a haunting reminder of the destructive power of fear and superstition. With the passage of time, the shockwaves of this event have rippled through centuries, leaving a legacy that continues to echo in our modern world. In the aftermath of the trials, the village of Salem was left scarred, its community fractured and its reputation tarnished. The trials had exposed the dangers of unchecked hysteria, the fragility of justice in the face of fear, and the dire consequences of superstition overriding reason. The legacy of the trials is a profound one. It left an indelible mark on the American legal system, prompting reforms that emphasize the importance of evidence and the presumption of innocence. The ordeal underscored the value of rational thought and skepticism in the face of unfounded accusations and mass hysteria. But perhaps the most enduring legacy is the lasting symbol the Salem witch trials have become for the persecution of the innocent. They serve as a stark warning of the dangers of mob mentality and the ease with which fear can manipulate us into betraying our principles of fairness and justice. The trials have also sparked a continual dialogue about the role of women and power in society. The majority of the accused were women, often those who didn't conform to societal norms. This highlights the trials as a historical example of gendered violence, further enriching our understanding of the event's significance. Fast forward to today, the trials are not just a tale of a bygone era, but a timeless lesson. They resonate in contemporary discussions about due process, the importance of critical thinking, and the dangers of scapegoating. They remind us of the potential for fear to cloud judgment, the vulnerability of marginalized groups, and the necessity of maintaining a fair and balanced judicial system. The trials, a testament to the human cost of superstition and fear, remind us of the ever-present need for justice, tolerance, and empathy. As we reflect on the legacy of the Salem witch trials, let us not forget the lessons they have taught us, lessons that are as relevant today as they were over 3 centuries ago. History, often a mirror to the present, holds lessons that are timeless. The Salem witch trials are more than a dark chapter in our past. They serve as a stark reminder of the havoc that fear, intolerance, and unchecked power can wreak on a society. Over 3 centuries ago, a small village was gripped by a hysteria that led to the tragic loss of innocent lives. Today we might not be hunting witches, but the trials' underlying themes remain relevant. Fear of the unfamiliar, the rush to judgment, the willingness to follow rather than question authority. These are pitfalls we must continue to guard against. When we examine the Salem witch trials, we're not just studying history. We're exploring the depths of human nature, our capacity for cruelty under the guise of righteousness, and our ability to let fear override reason. But we're also reminded of our capacity for growth, for reflection, and for change. The Salem witch trials serve as a sobering testament to the dangers of mass hysteria and the power of fear. But they also stand as a monument to the resilience of those who, in the face of adversity, fought for justice and sought to right the wrongs of the past. As we look back at Salem, we are reminded of the importance of vigilance against fear and intolerance, for those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it.